welcome to another episode of Target Topics, the Info Series. I'm Gene Abbey, Director of Insurance Services and Education at Target Markets, and today we're going to be talking about Bordereaux data management and analytics. Joining us today, we have Paul Templar, co-founder and CEO of VIPR Solutions. Welcome, Paul.
Hi, Gene. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you joining us. So let's kind of just jump right into it, Paul. VIPR, I believe, was founded in 2009. But for those who don't know about VIPR, can you tell us a little bit about that? And what are the global delegated insurance industry problems you're trying to solve?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you say, we started in 2009, and our focus very much has always been the delegated underwriting within the insurance market. So as I'm sure you appreciate, an awful lot of data is being generated by the delegated market and passed between program administrators to carriers and on to reinsurers. And there's no real standard that our data's following. So our products are there to help standardize that data, check to make sure that it's fit and proper and within the terms that have been set out inside of programs, and then ultimately store that data in a good, clean, common way that can be used for downstream services, but also analytics.
That's certainly something that the industry we fight with that every day, and I'm glad that you're making it better for us. So thank you. So you received some funding, private equity funding, back in 2020. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how it's helped your company develop?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you rightly say, up until 2020, we were an owner-managed business. And at the time, two of the other founders of the business had decided that it was time for them to step away from the business. They wanted to focus on other things. And we had the opportunity to look at the market and decide to take on some funding from private equity, which we did. It was a really good move for us. We were able to really invest in the business, bring on some fantastic people, some talent into the business, but also it gave us the opportunity to improve our product lineup and also branch out from being solely a UK focused business to being a global business.
Interesting. So what challenges are you seeing today in the US for carriers, MGUs, and brokers alike?
Yeah, I mean, the good news is that the challenges that we're seeing in the US are very similar to the challenges in the UK. And primarily, it is that there's an awful lot of data that's flowing around the market. And it's a really tough job for the carriers, the reinsurers, the fronting carriers to make sense of that data, because quite often it's not being shared in any sort of common or consistent way. So I think the biggest challenge for our customers, and certainly as we're seeing for the market as a whole, is the ability to consistently bring data into a common format so it can then be used for that downstream processing, like into finance systems, into policy admin systems, or onto reinsurance platforms, but also beyond that, to be able to make sense of the data that's being presented so that improvements can be made to the underwriting results as a result of looking and studying the data that's coming through.
Interesting. Well, that kind of defines the problem. Let me ask, how are customers accessing your technology and the resources that you're using to do this?
Yes, so primarily our products are delivered in a cloud-based manner. So we offer a software as a service that our customers can access. We take care of all of the IT infrastructure and running the platforms for them. And very simply, they access the platform via a web browser. So it's a really simple process. We use some industry standard technology as well. So things like Power BI, Power are data analytics platform. So it's a really common platform that's being used in the market. And a lot of our platforms are also aimed at the business user rather than the IT user. So as a result of that, the language, the terminology, the way we set the products up really fit well for someone who has a skill set, maybe around Excel or very used to that sort of level of technology. They can pick the platforms up really simply and start running with them.
Very nice. Very interesting. So there are a lot of carriers out there. There's a lot of MGAs, a lot of brokers. what's forcing ththese people to choose to work with you, and what considerations would they make when choosing to work with anyone?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're spot on with the sorts of people that we work with. So carriers, larger MGAs and brokers are definitely the type of customer that we work with. Typically, it's anybody that is receiving volumes of data that they want to try and standardize and make sense of. So it's really fits into that mold really nicely. And ultimately, we're seeing situations where either there's a startup business like a new fronting carrier, for example, who just want to have the right systems from the get-go, that they want to make sure they're starting on the right footing. So they're exploring systems like ours. It could be that there's a growing entity, maybe an MGA that's growing, and they want to come away from maybe manual processes or homegrown processes and start using a platform to try and scale their business much more easily, or simply a case where efficiencies want to be gained by a carrier, so that they can start making sense of their book of business and actually make some sensible underwriting decisions on the back of all the data they're receiving.
Interesting. So here in the United States, are you seeing more of a certain type of customer than another, and or who might be some of the customers that you would work with?
Yeah, you know what? It's a real mixture. So in the United States, we have customers ranging from startup fronting carriers, startup reinsurers, right the way through to tier one carriers. So it is a real mixture, and that's great to see because we're able to deliver solutions for our customers regardless of their size, and they're able to benefit from that product lineup, regardless of sort of how big or small they are.
So what types of questions are your customers asking to reveal about their program data and the analytics?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So what we're seeing is, first of all, once they've got their data into a sensible state, so they've put the data through validations, it's been scrubbed, it's been checked, they've fixed any data quality issues that have arisen from that process, and they've now got a really good set of data to work with. There's an awful lot that it can do with it. Fundamentally, it fits into two categories. It's either underwriting related questions or operational related questions. So the operational related stuff is really straightforward. Is it, have I got the right data? Is it being supplied to me on time? How much effort am I having to go through to process this data? So we can measure sort of the iterations that our customers are going through, the backwards and forwards between parties to try and answer questions. So all of that type of information is there from an operational standpoint. And then from an underwriting standpoint, things like comparing the written premiums versus the cash to make sure that everything's been collected that's been written, looking at claims to make sure that they understand the loss ratios, earn to incur positions, maybe looking at the expected premiums, measuring that against the actual premiums that are coming in so they can see whether the book of business is performing exactly as they were expecting it to. And ultimately, there's a whole range of data points that we provide that are aimed at helping our customers improve their book of business. So to spot trends that are not the way they would like them to be, and to work with their partners then to improve those results.
Interesting. So those are some of the things that's happening out there right now. What are some of the benefits that they're seeing from a financial perspective or a time and efficiency perspective?
Yeah, there's definitely gains to be had in both areas. So from an efficiency perspective, we're certainly working very hard with our customers to get to a straight through processing position. So as data is presented from the third party, the MGA, say to the carrier, that data is processed automatically through the platform, and they can get to those insights very quickly. Our customers are finding that takes less people, it's a more scalable solution, and certainly very robust. So that there's definitely the efficiency side of things. And then when used properly, the analytical proposition can really highlight where gains can be made in their books of business, how to improve their underwriting results. And as a result of that, of course, there's an immediate cash impact that will be very positive for the customer.
Very good. Technology, it changes rapidly nowadays, faster than I thought it ever would. What kinds of changes are you seeing out there in the technology that exists, and or how about your technology too? What types of changes are going across the board as far as that goes?
Yeah, I think in recent years there's definitely been a trend from well, two things really. First of all, moving from homegrown solutions through to actually vendor solutions. There's definitely a recognition that buying a off-the-shelf established product is much more scalable for organizations, but also from a hosting point of view, moving from self-hosted to cloud-hosted solutions, there's definitely been a trend towards that. I think looking forwards, we're seeing an awful lot of information coming onto the market about artificial intelligence, AI, as well as large language models, and it's an incredibly exciting time to be involved in technology. It's moving very, very quickly. There's new technologies coming out all the time. I think this year is predicted to be the year of the AI agent, which is essentially your army of bots, if you like, that will go away and do the work for you. So it's really interesting to see how things like RPA robotics is transforming into agents in an AI world. We're definitely really focused on that subject and exploring ways that we can utilize AI within our products to simplify and enhance what we're doing. Right now, we don't see AI as something that's going to replace the jobs of the people that use our platforms, but rather give them superpowers to be able to do that job much better. We're incredibly excited to see where it's going to go over the next few months.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting. I like the term superpowers, right? That's kind of what it is in a sense. So,
we give capes away with the software. Just
great. So, super cape, super AI. I love it. Fantastic. 15 years that VIPR's been, in the game. What types of milestones do you feel like you've achieved, and how do they compare to similar milestones with the rest of the industry?
It's been a really exciting 15 years for us. We've grown from a very much a UK focused business to an international business. We really see the US as key to that development. One of the big milestones for us was gaining our first US customer and then gaining our first tier one customer. It was, amazing to see that our technology is well received in international markets, but actually it works incredibly well in the US and other markets. So we were super excited with that. Launching new products over the last couple of years has been amazing. We've always had analytical capabilities within our platform, but the latest version, the latest generation of our analytical proposition called Insights is I'm blown away by it. I think it's amazing what the team have done to build that. And it's a set of technologies that genuinely do help our customers, improve their operation underwriting. So I'm really excited about that. Of course, being invested in by private equity was another big milestone. So moving from that owner managed business to a PE-backed business was incredible. And that's allowed us to do a lot of the things that we now do today. So a lot to be really proud of. Today in the UK market, we stand as having around about 50% of the Lloyd's managing agents using our platform. We look after insurers, we look after brokers and MGAs within the platform, as well as reinsurers and fronting carriers. So it's great to see the breadth and depth of the customers that we're now serving.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Paul. So, I mean, it's definitely changing fast and it's happening almost seemingly overnight. But that leads to the next question, right? What are other industry trends that you're seeing and keeping your eye on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the big one absolutely is AI. I think that's the thing that we're really keeping our eye on. Something that we're also really keen to push forward is partnerships with other vendors. I think for too long, vendors have worked very much in isolation and not been a team sport. I think we have a unique opportunity now to start to partner with other vendors. So we started to do that with people like Insurity and Advantage Go, where we're actually looking at ways that we can integrate the systems so that off the shelf, our customers are able to use that integration. They're not expected to be system integrators themselves. And I think the more collaboration that we can do between platforms will be a great way to go.
Yeah, I think that the collaboration between the platforms is key. I'm seeing more of that nowadays where folks are working together, the vendors. Earlier, you mentioned the homegrown systems. I don't think that they were as easily configurable to vendor partners. So I'm assuming that's probably driving a lot of that change as well. So
I think so. And I think sort of that move into the cloud from sort of systems on premise is also driving that. And there's just a general realization that actually a homegrown system is a great way to start, but you're going to get to a point where that doesn't become scalable, or maybe the team that built that platform have now moved on it and it's become unmaintainable. So definitely working with partners for your platforms are a great way to ensure that you've got the stability moving forwards, you've got that scalability, and that you're being delivered updates and the product's being maintained very well.
So scalability, that's an interesting concept in the sense of, you're growing, you're getting more customers. How do you continue to be responsive to the customers in light of the growth?
Yeah, customer focus is absolutely key for us. We've got a fantastic reputation and we want to maintain that. We're not looking to do anything that will affect how we are perceived as a business and the service quality that we deliver. So it's really important for us that we have a controlled growth and we make sure that as we grow, we have the right support systems sat behind that growth to make sure that we do continue to deliver a really good quality of service.
Very good. Speed to market. That's something we hear quite often. I understand that you may have a new tool you are about to launch, real-time data exchange. Can you tell me a little bit about that, Paul?
Yeah, of course. So if you think about the data journey as it is today, very typically a Bordereaux, a set of data, a report will be generated by an MGA at the end of the month following when the risk has been written. So, for example, you write a risk on the 1st of January, that might feature in a report that you send the end of February. So already that data is 60 days old. It's being emailed through to a carrier, sits in their inbox for a little bit before they get to processing it. So by the time the carrier gets that data and looks at it, it could be 3 months old. So they spot some issues with the way that the business has been written. They're 3 months behind the curve straight away, so that they're on the back foot. So what we're doing is connecting MGA systems to the carriers' platforms that are being used, and we're looking to move that data in near real time, so certainly within 24 hours of risks being written. So it gives the carriers the ability to view those risks much, much faster, allows them to make decisions on what to do with that data, spot trends they like, spot trends they don't like, and actually encourage or discourage certain activities at a much, much earlier time frame. So rather than 90 days old, they're now 24 hours old with their data. It's a much, much better place to be.
And do you think, Paul, that gives them the opportunity to act that much faster? I mean, 60 days seems like a long time, but how much can you do in a 24-hour notice or a week or something like that? I mean, can you really have an impact?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's definitely a change in mindset and a change in process. It would be very easy to not do something with that data and sort of wait to a month end and then take a look. So it's as much change in the way that the customers are working as a change in the speed that the data is delivered. But over time, we believe that we can put our customers in a much better position, that they can really be viewing this data much sooner and taking the appropriate actions.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, I mean, Paul, we've talked about the folks you're working with, MGAs, carriers, your time over here in the States and the things you're doing. I think we would all agree that Bordereaux and data management is a priority, especially with the onset of newer companies, the newer fronting companies, the reinsurers. So we really thank you for your time today to kind of explain us through that and tell us a little bit about what you folks do there at VIPR. And appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you, Gene. Really appreciate it.
All righty. Take care.
Take care.